planet is home to millions of creatures, but some of them don't just exist, they stop you dead in your tracks. From insects that look more like flowers than animals, to foxes that look like they were hand-painted by an artist, nature has created living things so breathtakingly beautiful, they almost don't seem real. Thanks to cameras and wildlife researchers from around the world, we're finally getting close enough to see just how extraordinary these creatures truly are. And today we're counting down 15 animals so beautiful they look like actual works of art. Number 15. The white tiger. We are looking at the very peak of nature's creative genius, a creature carefully crafted to embody power, mystery, and visual perfection. The white tiger is not just an apex predator. It is a living symbol of untamed glory, whose presence commands immediate silence, instinctive respect, and near reverential admiration. That coat, snow white, carved through by bold dark markings as sharp as ink on parchment, gives this animal an almost otherworldly appearance. And those pale blue eyes don't merely observe, they pierce, calculate, and hold complete authority over everything within their gaze. The white tiger is not a separate species or an albino. It carries a rare genetic condition called leucism, which strips the orange tones from its coat while leaving those dramatic markings and vivid eye colour intact. A fully grown male stretches over 3 meters and carries close to 280 kilograms of pure muscle. Its bite surpasses 450 kilograms of force, and every stride flows with a muscular grace that makes all that power look effortless. Yet the chances of a white cub being born in the wild sit at just 1 in 10,000. In 1951, the last known wild white tiger was shot dead in India, and this genetic wonder vanished from the natural world entirely. No confirmed wild sighting has been recorded since. What disappeared that day was not simply a rare animal, it was a miracle. 14. The peacock, nature's most extravagant artist. Possibly the most visually stunning bird to ever exist. When a male opens his display, a tail of more than 200 feathers explodes open, stretching nearly 2 meters wide and filling your entire field of vision with cobalt blue, emerald green, gold and bronze. Each feather ends in a painted eye staring back from every angle. It is not just beautiful, it is overwhelming. And those colours are not actually in the feathers. No pigment at all. Microscopic structures bend and scatter light depending on the angle, producing that iridescent glow entirely from reflected light. The peacock is not wearing colour, it is wearing light itself. 13. The panther chameleon. What if an animal could change its entire appearance in the time it takes you to blink? Not slowly, not gradually. A full, vivid, head-to-tail explosion of colour, red to blue, green to orange, yellow to electric turquoise, happening in seconds right before your eyes, like someone is controlling it with a remote. Meet the panther chameleon, the most colourful of all 200 known chameleon species in the world, found only in Madagascar, and nothing about it is ordinary. In 2018, researchers discovered that beneath its skin lie tiny nanocrystals the animal stretches and compresses at will. When those crystals shift, the wavelengths of light change instantly. It is not painting itself, it is bending light, a living LED screen. When two males meet, intense reds flood the body and electric blues ignite along the sides. The most colourful argument in the animal kingdom. No two panther chameleons look exactly alike, with each population across Madagascar developing its own unique colour combinations over thousands of years. An adult grows up to 50 centimetres, including a prehensile tail that grips branches like a fifth hand. Would you dare to keep this fascinating creature as a pet? It is actually one of the most kept exotic reptiles in the world. But it needs precise humidity, specific lighting, live insects, and an environment that closely mimics Madagascar. Get it wrong, and this living masterpiece fades fast. 12. The glasswing butterfly. Imagine a butterfly with wings you can look straight through. Wings that show you the leaf behind them, the flower beneath them, the sky above them. This is the glasswing butterfly, one of the strangest, most quietly beautiful things nature has ever created. A thin border of orange, red and black outlines a space where wings should be, but aren't. When it flies through a sunlit forest, it catches the light like a drifting shard of crystal. It does not hide, it simply stops being visible. Most butterflies wear dense, colourful scales packed tightly together. The glass-wing scales are microscopic, widely spaced, and almost entirely absent from the central wing surface, letting light pass straight through. Predators look directly at it and see nothing worth chasing. But this butterfly is also toxic. It absorbs poisonous compounds from plants during its caterpillar stage and carries those toxins into adulthood, invisible and poisonous. Nature gave it two shields at once, and there is still more. The male attracts females not through colour or display, but through scent, described by researchers as smelling remarkably similar to fresh pineapple. With a wingspan of just 5 to 6 centimetres, it travels up to 20 kilometres daily during migration, navigating dense forest from Mexico to Panama. Studies revealed it lives up to 12 weeks, far longer than most tropical butterflies. The most fragile-looking things in nature are very often the most resilient. 11. The mandarin duck. Close your eyes and imagine a bird so vibrant that even professional wildlife photographers have been accused of editing their photos. Now open your eyes and meet the mandarin duck, arguably the most extravagantly decorated bird on Earth. The male looks as if an obsessive artist spent a lifetime deciding which colours to combine. A deep emerald crown, burning copper flanks, a snow-white eyebrow stripe, a vivid tangerine red beak, and sail-like golden feathers rising from its back like frozen ocean waves. No two feathers seem to belong to the same palette, yet together they form something almost architectural in its precision. Native to China, Japan, and parts of Russia, it nests in tree cavities near calm fresh water, where its stunning reflection doubles in the still water below. One of nature's greatest paradoxes, the female is almost entirely brown and grey. While the male dazzles and distracts, the female raises the young in hidden nests without ever drawing a predator's eye. In East Asian culture, mandarin ducks are an enduring symbol of love and marital fidelity. This bird's beauty has shaped human culture for centuries. What would you do if one landed 3 feet in front of you on a quiet riverbank? 10. The axolotl. There is an animal at the bottom of a lake in Mexico City that looks like a creature from a fantasy novel. A pale, feathery-gilled, permanently smiling salamander that never grows up. This is the axolotl, and it is one of the most biologically astonishing vertebrates ever discovered. The axolotl is a neotenic salamander, meaning it retains its juvenile features throughout its entire adult life. While most amphibians transform from water-breathing larvae into air-breathing adults, the axolotl simply never receives the hormonal signal to change. It remains aquatic forever, breathing through elaborate feather-like external gills that fan out from either side of its head like a living crown. Those gills range from deep maroon to soft pink to translucent white, waving gently like the petals of an exotic flower. Combined with its wide, flat head and permanent upward curl at the corners of its mouth, the axolotl has an expression that can only be described as serenely, impossibly content. But its most astonishing feature is its ability to regenerate. This animal can regrow entire limbs, portions of its heart, sections of its spinal cord, and even parts of its brain, with no scarring and full functionality restored. A creature this small may hold answers that could one day help people recover from injuries once considered permanent. 9. The clouded leopard. Somewhere above you, something is watching. You cannot see it. You cannot hear it. This is the clouded leopard, and wildlife researchers who have spent years searching for it sometimes go their entire careers without ever seeing one. Not because it is rare, but because it is that good at disappearing. Its coat is unlike anything else in the cat family. Large, dark, cloud-shaped patches drift across a background of pale gold and soft grey, like shadows cast by a stormy sky. In a forest where light and darkness mix through leaves and mist, this animal simply vanishes into the scenery. It is not hiding. It is just wearing the forest. It grows up to 2 meters long, with a tail so long it nearly matches the rest of its body, working like a tightrope walker's pole through the treetops. It can run down a tree trunk head first, leap up to 15 meters between branches, and hunts almost entirely above the ground. And here is the detail that will genuinely surprise you. The clouded leopard has the longest canine teeth of any living wildcat relative to its body size, reaching up to 5 centimeters. Proportionally, those fangs are closer to a saber-toothed cat than any modern feline alive today. Some animals demand your attention. The clouded leopard simply disappears and lets the mystery do the work. 8. The superb bird of paradise. There is a bird whose courtship display is so visually extreme that when footage first circulated online, millions of people genuinely believed it had been digitally created. Meet the superb bird of paradise. At rest, the male is a small, unremarkable black bird. Nothing prepares you for what happens when it begins its display. In less than a second, it fans out a broad, glossy black breast shield and raises an iridescent emerald blue chest plate until the two form a perfectly oval disc of colour and shadow. Combined with two bright blue eye spots and a border of electric teal, the result is a stylized, almost cartoonish face, hovering on the body of a dancing bird. The display dance is as mesmerizing as the plumage. The male hops rapidly back and forth in short, precise rhythmic movements, his disc perfectly presented. Seen at high speed, the visual effect is of an animated icon bouncing through dim forest light. The female watches with supreme indifference. Males may perform this display hundreds of times before successfully attracting a mate. The superb bird of paradise lives in the forests of New Guinea, an island so rich in biodiversity it has produced dozens of bird of paradise species. But even among this extraordinary group, the superb bird stands apart, because its display does not just attract attention, it creates an entirely new visual form. 7. The satanic leaf-tailed gecko. There are animals that hide, there are animals that camouflage, and then there is the satanic leaf-tailed gecko, an animal that does not merely blend into its environment, but becomes it so completely that biologists describe suddenly noticing one as viscerally shocking. Even when they know exactly what they are looking for. Found exclusively in Madagascar, this gecko has evolved what is widely regarded as the most extreme camouflage in the vertebrate world. Its flattened, fringed body mimics a dead, decayed leaf with extraordinary fidelity, complete with simulated bite marks, brown discoloration, and false venation that precisely imitates the vein structure of dried leaves. Its eyes are enormous, ruby red or amber, with intricate pupils that expand to near black circles in low light and contract to razor-thin slits in bright conditions. Peering out from a body indistinguishable from dead foliage, those eyes are genuinely unsettling in the best possible way. When threatened, it opens its mouth wide to reveal a vivid red interior, a sudden jarring flash of colour that startles predators long enough to make its escape. In a creature otherwise defined by invisibility, this is extraordinary. An emergency override before disappearing once more into the leaves. 6. The bioluminescent firefly squid. Every spring, something happens in Toyama Bay on the coast of Japan so extraordinary, it has been attracting visitors from across the world for decades. The water begins to glow, millions of cold blue-white lights pulse in the darkness, turning the entire ocean into a living constellation. This is the annual arrival of the firefly squid, typically just 6 to 8 centimeters long. What makes this small cephalopod extraordinary is its thousands of specialized light-producing organs called photophores embedded throughout its body. Unlike most bioluminescent marine animals that produce only a faint passive glow, the firefly squid actively controls its photophores with remarkable precision, creating complex patterns of pulsing light to attract prey, communicate and confuse predators. During spring spawning, firefly squid migrate to the shallower zones of Toyama Bay in concentrations so dense the entire water column appears illuminated. Waves breaking on shore flash blue. The faces of fishermen are lit by the cold, clean light of millions of living creatures. For most of the squid, this brilliance is the final act. After spawning, the majority die, their bodies drifting ashore and briefly illuminating the beaches with a fading glow. The brevity of this spectacle makes each night of light more precious and more impossible to forget. 5. The peacock mantis shrimp. Here is a question that will stay with you. What does the world look like to an animal that sees colours you cannot even imagine? The human eye has 3 types of colour receptors. The peacock mantis shrimp has between 12 and 16, plus the ability to perceive ultraviolet and polarised light simultaneously. It exists in a visual universe so vast there is no human analogy for what it experiences when it looks at a reef. It is also one of the most beautiful creatures in the ocean. Measuring between 10 and 18 centimeters, it wears a rich emerald green carapace, brilliant red and orange legs, a spotted tail fan, and electric compound eyes mounted on independently mobile stalks. It looks like a tropical fish designed by someone who refused to accept any limitations. Beauty, vision beyond imagination, and the most powerful strike in the animal kingdom relative to body size. The peacock mantis shrimp is a reminder that there are dimensions of experience ways of perceiving the world that exist far beyond the narrow window available to human senses. 4. The sand cat. Do not let the face fool you. Yes, it looks like a kitten. Yes, it has those enormous round eyes, those oversized ears, and that soft, pillowy face that makes you want to reach through the screen and hug it. But this little animal lives in one of the harshest places on Earth and survives conditions that would finish off creatures 3 times its size. This is the sand cat, the cutest predator on the planet, and it is tougher than it looks. Found across the scorching deserts of North Africa, the Arabian Peninsula and Central Asia, the sand cat weighs between 2 and 3 kilograms and measures about 50 centimeters in length, small enough to hold in your arms, dangerous enough to hunt and kill venomous snakes without hesitation. Its golden fur blends perfectly into the desert sand, making it nearly impossible to spot. And on the soles of its paws it grows a layer of thick fur that acts like a natural heat shield, allowing it to walk across sand hot enough to burn skin without feeling a thing. In 2019, camera traps captured the very first images of sandcat kittens in the wild, and the photos instantly melted hearts around the world, because somehow, impossibly, they are even cuter than the adults. Built like a toy, wired like a survivor, the sand cat is proof that the desert's most dangerous things sometimes come in the most irresistible packages. 3. The jewel beetle, the living gemstone. There are creatures whose beauty only reveals itself when you get close, rewarding careful attention with something so luminous you find yourself unable to look away. The jewel beetle, belonging to the family Buprestidae with over 15,000 known species, is exactly such a creature. In sunlight it does not simply look colourful, it blazes. Its exoskeleton produces structural iridescence, meaning its colours are not created by pigment but by the microscopic architecture of its shell, refracting and reflecting light differently depending on the angle. Emerald greens that deepen to sapphire at the edges, copper golds that flash to violet in shifting light. Some species display dozens of distinct metallic tones across a body smaller than your thumbnail. Found on every continent except Antarctica, certain species from Thailand and the Philippines are so spectacular, their dried wing cases have been worked into headdresses, brooches and embroidery by artisans across Asia for centuries. In India, jewel beetle wings in textile embroidery produce a shimmering iridescence that no dye or synthetic material has ever fully replicated. Nature produced the perfect gemstone, and then made it fly. 2. The marble fox. Fox coloration is already remarkable in nature, but the marble fox operates on an entirely different aesthetic level. It looks less like an animal and more like a painting. The marble fox carries a coat of pure white, marked with irregular patches of deep grey, charcoal black and occasionally silver, distributed across its face, body and tail in patterns so unique that no 2 marble foxes ever look quite the same. The dark masks and eye patches framing amber or pale blue eyes give each fox a dramatically expressive, almost theatrical appearance. The contrast is especially vivid in winter, when the animal moves through snow-covered northern forests like a living graphic, monochrome and striking against the white landscape. Beyond its appearance, the marble fox is an exceptionally intelligent and adaptable hunter, with keen hearing that allows it to precisely locate prey beneath snow by sound alone. It performs the characteristic high-arcing pounce directly into the snowpack, one of the most elegantly calculated hunting behaviours in the canid world. Number 1. The orchid mantis. What if the most beautiful flower in the forest was not a flower at all? What if it was watching you? The orchid mantis is widely considered the most beautiful insect in the world, and it has earned that title not by being colourful or showy, but by being a perfect copy of a living orchid, built from flesh, not petals. White, pink and soft purple tones cover its body, while its legs are shaped and flattened to look exactly like flower petals. It even sways gently in the breeze. The result is so convincing that bees and butterflies fly directly toward it, land on it, and never see the danger coming. But here is the detail that will truly stop you in your tracks. In 2015, researchers discovered that insects are actually more attracted to the orchid mantis than to real flowers growing right beside it. Not equally attracted, more attracted, because this insect reflects ultraviolet light patterns invisible to human eyes, but irresistible to the very insects it hunts. Nature did not just give this animal a disguise, it gave it a lure. Female orchid mantises grow up to 7 centimeters, while males rarely reach 3. She is bigger, brighter, and more convincing. Because she does all the hunting, she sits completely still, the perfect flower in the perfect spot. Waiting, it does not chase, it does not search, it just blooms, and everything comes to it. 15 creatures. 15 reasons to stop and look at this world a little more carefully. Every single one of them is real. Out there right now, living, hunting, glowing and blooming in a world most of us will never fully see. And that is exactly why it matters to look. God did not create a boring world. He created one so packed with beauty that a single lifetime is not enough to take it all in. These 15 are just the beginning. If this video reminded you how extraordinary life on this planet truly is, subscribe, leave a like, and share it with someone who needs to see it. See you in the next one.